Hey. Oh, thought I was on mute. What's good, y'all? What's good? I'll wait till I get some people up in here before I go do my workout and actually finish working. Boy, I just want to say the comments be commenting. Y'all is hilarious. One, nobody's gonna scare me off of YouTube. This is a hobby. this this is a hobby. Y'all ain't running me off. Two, don't be commenting on my videos talk about I'm all up in people personal business when you got about a thousand gazillion million trillion people all up in Diddy's business. Hey. What's up, fabulous? Um it's so hilarious. People, if y'all know me, y'all know me. Y'all know I work for myself. I'm a freelancer. I don't want to work for nobody. I have done that. I have been there and done that. Therefore, I don't want to do that. That's why I work for myself. And I contract with attorneys and I teach. But I think I got enough of you in here. See, everybody likes spicy stuff. Everybody likes, the celebrity gossip and stuff like that. But I rarely see people talking about voting. And that's why I was trying to get everybody in here. Yes, voting. We could be all up in folks' business, but yet be hollering that something ain't going right in your area and you refuse to vote. So I ain't gonna take too much of your time. No, I just want you guys to understand the voting process because it is a process. Um, a lot of individuals believe that when we vote, we are voting for the presidents and the vice president directly. No, our votes are indirect. And I made a post about this. So our votes are indirect. What we are doing is we are voting for an elector. And whichever party gets enough electors, that's the party that wins that state. Now, I was going to come on here and do a version, but I was like, no, I really need to simplify it. Our votes count. Our votes count when it comes to having people represent us to vote for a certain individual. I don't care if you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, you're a Libertarian, you're part of the Green Party. It does not matter. You always have to exercise your right to vote. This is passionate to me because my major is political science. That's what I do. I'm into politics. I'm into politics. I love teaching it. I love politicking. Okay. But I want you guys to understand, and I had this discussion with my kids and I had to simplify it, but I want everybody to understand why your vote counts. Okay. So always know we're not voting. So we're not directly voting for Harris or Trump. We are voting for the electors. And whatever party has that many electors, that that party wins that state. But I'm not and you know what? I'm gonna get into the video because the video is 5 minutes. Um, it should do the trick, and I hope you guys just kind of take this into consideration when you are voting. Mind you, it just does not stop at the federal level, the state level, okay? Your local government, when you talk about your school districts and all this other stuff, all of that matters. You vote for those people in there. But when it comes to presidential election, it's a little bit different. But I want to explain how electoral college works. So Let me, I'm gonna do this one. So I'm gonna pull this up, and this is what I be using in my classroom too, because a lot of people don't understand how electing a president works or the vice president. Oh wait, hold on, let me make sure I share the volume as well. Give me a second. Use this tab. Okay. All right.
Most people have heard of the Electoral College during presidential election years. But what exactly is the Electoral College? Simply said, it is a group of people appointed by each state who formally elect the President and Vice President of the United States. To understand how this process began and how it continues today, we can look at the Constitution of the United States. Article 2, Section 1, Clause 2 of the Constitution. It specifies how many electors each state is entitled to have. Since 1964, there have been 538 electors in each presidential election. How did they decide on the number 538? Well, the number of electors is equal to the total voting membership of the United States Congress, 435 representatives plus 100 senators and 3 electors from the District of Columbia. Essentially, the Democratic candidate and Republican candidate are each trying to add up the electors in every state so that they surpass 270 electoral votes, or just over half of 538 votes, and win the presidency. So how do states even get electoral votes? Each state receives a particular number of electors based on population size. The census is conducted every 10 years, so every time the census happens, states might gain or lose a few electoral votes. Let's say you're a voter in California, a state with 55 electoral votes. If your candidate wins in California, they get all 55 of the state's electoral votes. If your candidate loses, they get none. This is why many presidential candidates want to win states like Texas, Florida, and New York. If you currently add up the electoral votes of those 3 states, you would have 96 electoral votes. Even if a candidate won North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, Wyoming, Vermont, New Hampshire, Connecticut, and West Virginia, they would only gain 31 electoral votes total from those 8 states. Here's where it can get a little tricky. On a rare occasion, like in the year 2000, someone can win the popular vote but fail to gain 270 electoral votes. This means that the winner may have won and collected their electoral votes by small margins, winning just enough states with just enough electoral votes, but the losing candidate may have captured large voter margins in the remaining states. If this is the case, the very large margins secured by the losing candidate in the other states would add up to over 50% of the ballots cast nationally. Therefore, the losing candidate may have gained more than 50% of the ballots cast by voters, but failed to gain 270 of the electoral votes. Some critics of the Electoral College argue the system gives an unfair advantage to states with large numbers of electoral votes. Think of it this way. It is possible for a candidate to not get a single person's vote, not one vote, in 39 states or the District of Columbia, yet be elected president by winning the popular vote in just 11 of these 12 states: California, New York, Texas, Florida, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Ohio, Michigan, New Jersey, North Carolina, Georgia, or Virginia. This is why both parties pay attention to these states. However, others argue that the Electoral College protects small states such as Rhode Island, Vermont, and New Hampshire, and even geographically large states with small populations, like Alaska, Wyoming, and the Dakotas. That's because a candidate can't completely ignore small states, because in a close election, every electoral vote counts. There are certain states that have a long history of voting for a particular party. These are known as safe states. For the past 4 election cycles, in 1996, 2000, 2004, and 2008, Democrats could count on states like Oregon, Maryland, Michigan, and Massachusetts, whereas the Republicans could count on states like Mississippi, Alabama, Kansas, and Idaho. States that are teetering between parties are called swing states. In the past 4 election cycles, Ohio and Florida have been swing states. twice providing electoral votes for a Democratic candidate and twice providing electoral votes for a Republican candidate. Think about it. Do you live in a safe state? If so, is it a Democratic or Republican safe state? Do you live in a swing state? Are your neighboring states swing or safe? Is the population in your state increasing or decreasing? And do not forget, when you're watching the electoral returns on election night every 4 years and the big map of the United States is on the screen, know that the magic number is 270 and start adding.
I sure hope that was very educational for you guys. Hold up, I'm trying to stop sharing my screen. Hold on. Heard it. So, and I'm gonna, like I said, I'm about to go work out. I gotta get my workout on. So, the last thing I want to share is, come on screen. I hate that it has all of this ads and stuff on it. All right. So this is what the map looks like now. So as of right now, everybody knows that we are doing early voting. Okay. So some ballots have been in here. Good for real. Actually, I taught history. Before I became go, I was a teacher. That's why teaching is my passion. So I taught social studies, world geography, world history, US history, government. I did not teach economics. So this is my passion. And then I also have to do this with my GED students as well, because this is some of the questions that they do ask on GED exams. But this is the map right here, and it shows the like what each state has as far as the electoral votes. So right now Texas has 40, California has 54, and then you have some that like they was talking about, Nebraska and Maine has the congressional districts. And so here you can see, so it's a matter of us voting, but we're voting for an elector. So if we get enough elector votes, so in Texas, if we get enough votes and somehow this red state becomes a blue state, that just means that everybody who like more Democrats voted for a Democratic candidate. Therefore, the party that's going to represent Texas is going to be Democrat, therefore turning it blue. And so when it's time to actually vote on the actual candidacy, then the electors will be doing that. So if Texas turns blue, that means that the Democrats won the electoral, and then they go and they vote on behalf of us, and then that's how that works, as it explains in the video. So it's like it's literally a race. Who can get to 271 before. So it is not about the popular vote or the popularity vote. Is it about the electoral votes, how much you can gain from each state? So as of right now, like I said, there are it's early voting. Go out there and vote. Go Google and say early voting stations. I did make a community post where you can click on the link and you can see if your particular state actually does early voting. And if so, get that out the way. Do not wait until election day and you're out there waiting on those long lines, right? If you have people that the elderly or people who are disabled and are but they are still able to vote, you know, work something out with them. Go and say, hey, do you need a mail-in ballot or something like that? If they're disabled or they don't have transportation, see if you can, do some, I don't want to say due diligence, but like community service, right? And say, hey, I'll take a carpool of people to voting polls. Like, this is stuff that can help America get better if we all work together. Just simply saying, I'm not going to vote because I don't like either candidate. Okay, I trust me, I get it. But exercising your right to vote is something that you should do. You should do. We all live in the same United States of America. And I'm pretty sure there are things in your area, in your community, that you don't agree with. So if you're not voting, you don't have a say so. You do not have a say so. This presidential election is very, very important. Now, I can't tell you who to vote for. The only thing I can tell you, I'm going to take this off because I know all these ads. I can't tell you who to vote for. That's not why I'm here. I'm here to help you guys understand how the electoral college works, for you guys to understand that we don't directly choose or vote for the two candidates. Okay, we indirectly vote for them by selecting electors for our states, and whatever party wins that state, those are the electors that put in the official vote. But if we're not doing our job and we end up with the wrong electors, then it's not going to work. I remember in 2020 when some counties in Texas actually turned blue. They actually turned blue. So don't ever think your one vote could be that one vote away from getting the right party for your state, you know, to be the elector and then actually casting their vote for the actual presidency. So go on the community tab, look to see if you have early vote in your state. If you do, please go out there and vote. All of this stuff, we spend time and time and time and time and time on this YouTube streets, and we sit here and we talk about everybody's business, but what's going on in the community that actually matters. None of these celebrities care about us. None of these celebrities are paying us. No, I want to be active in my community. I want to give back to my community. I want to see my community do good. And the only way I can do that is to ensure that I have officials in office that can bring about change and do good. If you are unaware of any of the people that are running in your local and state government, and even on a presidential level, there are websites that you guys can go to. Like, the internet is so accessible right now. You could just simply go to Chat GT, whatever that thing is, or you can go to Google and say, what are the policies of, this president, and read. We read everything else. We read the blogs. We read lawsuits. Nothing that can help us on a day-to-day basis. But we can't take the time out to actually read a policy to see which candidate we feel more comfortable voting for. And it's sad. I may sit up here and do what I do on these YouTube streets, but behind this, I'm on it. I am on it because that's how important it is. My 18-year-old is so ecstatic about voting this year, and it just warms my heart. His senior year of high school, he came to me and said, "Hey, mom, I'm taking African American studies." Now, this boy is a beast on the violin, and it was a choice of taking African American studies or concert orchestra. And he said, "No, I want to take African American studies." And we had a conversation every single my if y'all see my kids I don't even know how to explain them. Like, they are straight A students. I have no problems with them. They're geeks. They are, I don't want to call them ghetto nerds because we far from the ghetto, but you you wouldn't think my children are geeky like that. But he was so excited about taking this course, and we sat here every day. I brought him home from school. We had a conversation about what he learned in African American studies. They talked about voting. They talked about the struggles that we had, especially us women. If you were a black and a woman, you had two things against you. You couldn't even vote because you're black, and then you couldn't even vote because you was a woman. Do you know the struggles that they went through? Everybody, we can sit here and vote for our favorite singer on American Idol, but we can't go down to the polls and actually vote for something that actually matters. I don't want to hear anybody complaining about anything that any party is doing if you did not go out there and cast your vote. That's plain and simple. People know not to come to me, especially family. If you ain't vote, don't we can't talk politics. We absolutely cannot. Cuz I'm not going back and forth with somebody who does not exercise their right to vote. And I'm not saying that I'm better than anybody, but I'm saying what do you actually have to talk to me about? Right? Oh no, Buttercup. No, you're good. We're just having a discussion on voting. So like I said, go out there, go to the community wall, click on to see if you have early voting. If you have early voting, get out there and early vote. I would actually, organize something, and you don't have to broadcast it, but the elderly people, the disabled people, see what you can do within your community to help them be able to get to the polls. And if they can't get to the polls, help them to see how can they do the mail-in ballot. All right. Hi, Mo 131. That is what matters. We don't want to repeat. We don't want to repeat, okay? This is both candidates gave their job interviews, okay? We have their resumes. All I can say is be smart in your decision, but make a decision. Don't deter anybody from voting. Don't ever tell anybody your vote does not count, because it does. Now, because we don't vote directly for them, the electoral college is very important. That's why my kids was like, why? I had to explain this to a 16 and 11-year-old and they understand. I said, what if you had, let me see, like $100? Well, not even, you had $99, right? And you're like, okay, yeah, all right. And somebody gave you $1 to make $100. Would you say, nah, I'm not gonna take your dollar? That dollar ain't worth nothing. Nah, that dollar is going to give you $100. You could have $999. What? Not wait, 999,999. There we go, and 99 cents. You're one penny away from what? A million? Are you saying that penny is worthless? No, that's you're one penny away from $1 million. Hi, Pensy Lola. Oh, yes, Buttercup, have an awesome time at work. Don't work too hard. But yeah, so don't ever say that your vote does not count. Understand the process. You have to understand the process to see how it works. Once you understand it and you know how it works, then do your due diligence on the candidates that you are choosing. And I don't have a ballot up, but it's not just about your presidency, okay? It's also about your local and state. If your children go to a certain school district and you hate that school district, that's a superintendent problem. You vote that person in there, and if you didn't vote them in there, then hey, it was probably one vote away for somebody else that was better, okay? If you don't like that judge that's sitting at the municipal court down there when you get your ticket, either you didn't vote or either you didn't vote, let's put it that way. And that person got into office. That divorce judge that you don't like, that ain't fair. That criminal judge, court of appeals, like all of this plays in our day-to-day lives. Not Krishan, not James Wright, not Diddy, not Chris Brown, not none of these celebrities. Because I bet y'all they're actually going out there actually voting. And some people are voting for the first time. Lapita, um, she is so ecstatic that she gets to vote for the first time in the United States of America. That's what matters. Awesome, Pence. Awesome. Yeah, so I'm actually gonna do mine tomorrow because I spent my time here going off early in the morning on YouTube. But I'm gonna do some, I'm gonna go work out. I'm about to come back home, shower, and do some work, and then actually go tomorrow and actually vote once I drop my kiddos off at school. But yeah, this is the time. It's crazy when you talk about real stuff that, you have a little bit of people, in your life. But if I was talking about something crazy, that's where everybody will be. This is educational stuff. I don't have to really come on live to do this, but I just felt it in my spirit to come on here and talk about it because it is something that definitely needs to be talked about. It's not talked about enough. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and get off of this. I'm gonna go work out, and I just pray that everybody um, votes because I'm just gonna say I'm gonna leave it at like that. Like I said, I don't want to sway anybody to do anything that they don't want to, but it's very this election. I can't stress. Hey MEP, hey. I cannot stress enough how important it is to ensure that you vote. People say, "Oh, I don't like either candidate." Why you don't like either candidate? Is it based off of hearsay or is it based off of the research that you have done? I actually did a video of Miss Harris, VP Harris, a while ago because the narrative was one, oh, she's the vice president. We haven't seen her done anything. Have you seen any vice president do anything? Mike Pence, what did he do during Trump's run or when he was in office? What did Joe Biden do when Obama was in office? Does anybody know exactly what work has been done by the vice president in any term? That's number one. The vice president is not to be seen, okay? They do stuff on the back end, well, behind closed doors, I should say. I don't want to say the back end. They have their own things going. And then plus they're that speaker of the house. They're that one vote away from something becoming law. That's what people don't understand. That's why they should have adult government. Government and economics. That's why you have to take that your senior year because you're about to enter into adulthood and it is needed. It is needed. So I did the video over VP Harris and I talked about one, what she has done. The other narrative that people are putting out there is that she put a lot of black people in jail. But have y'all actually gone back and looked at the time frame, the era that she was in, what she was actually doing? Like everybody runs with the narrative because that's what they hear. They don't actually do their own research, receipts. That's one thing about the internet, especially YouTube. People run with things without receipts. So if you don't know the true meaning of what Kamala did, I always call her Kamala, VP Harris, what she did in her as when she was in California, I suggest that you go back and watch that video. But please stop running with what you hear and do your due diligence and educate yourself. That's all you got to do. Pay attention. Like I sit here, I made my kids watch well, not the older two, but my 11-year-old, I sat there and made him watch the debate. Boy, you did watch the debate. Oh, well, he said he wanted to. Well, I'm up here. You see how he talk back? Kids get slapped these days. But so he wanted to watch the debate. That's the type of conversations that I have in my household because I don't want to. My parents did not have these type of conversation. Well, my mother didn't have this type of conversation with me. You learn from school, but you also learn from experience. And so that's why I'm trying to pass down to my kids. It's very important. All this other stuff, this hoopla on these YouTube streets is actually nothing compared to where we have to be in a community on a day-to-day basis. Oh, wow. Yes. I love California. I love California. I really do. But yeah, if you exactly this part right here, I love this. If you don't do outside research, you become brainwashed. And that's in every aspect, every single aspect. If you don't do outside research, you will become brainwashed. And a prime example is here on this YouTube in these YouTube streets. That's the prime example. People will go with whatever narrative people put out there and have no receipts, no research on their own. If I can't physically see it and experience for myself or educate myself, look at it, read it, whatever the case may be, I'm not going to go forward. I'm just not. MVP said, he said, it be your own children. Y'all, I kid y'all not. So what was that, Dylan? It was a GED class. I was teaching my GED class and I let my child come with me on some nights. And I was trying to say onomatopoeia. All right. I don't know how I was saying. So this kid comes around the corner and said, "Hey, mom," in front of my students, it said it's onomatopoeia, and then gave an example of what onomatopoeia was. All I could do was laugh. But I'd be like, you know what? I'm not about to sit here and play with these kids. Hey, Ravishing, how are you tonight? Curly Cookie said, "Well, I go vote Friday. Vote, vote, vote." Yes. Yes. I'm telling you, early voting is it's better because you don't have to worry about the long lines, the crowds, or nothing like that. I go in the middle of the day when I know people are at work because I know that here my child just told me that on November 5th, which is Tuesday, I think they're actually going to be well, for our district, Richardson ISD, they're not going to have school on the 4th, on that Monday or that Tuesday. And I know that it is going to be crowded. So don't wait to the last minute. So if you are one of those people that is listening right now and you be like, I wasn't going to vote, but I think I might vote, don't do it because I'm telling you to vote. I want you to, but I also want you to educate yourself so you can understand why you are voting and, and this kind of helps you determine which way you lean. Okay, like I said, I have friends who are Republicans, right? I have friends who are Republicans. I have friends that don't actually vote, and I can't make them, but I try not. I don't even want to say persuade them. I try to educate them on the importance of voting, and it works sometimes. It works sometimes. But y'all, just please do your research, learn the candidates, and I'm not just talking about presidential candidates. I am talking about your local government, your state government. All right, know who are in office, from the superintendent to the municipal judge to the criminal courts, civil courts, federal courts, bankruptcy, court of appeals, who's the officer, sheriff, all of that you vote for. If you have a sheriff that y'all know is no good, that you know for a fact is no good, you need to be out there voting. So pull up your ballots, just go to your state and say, or your whatever county you live in, or bureau if you're in New York, or parish if you're in Louisiana, and see who is on your ballot. That's the first home. So whatever county, parish, bureau you are in, pull it up and see who is on the ballot. Go down that ballot and do your research. And they have sample ballots, okay? So you can be like, who are the officials running, in November? And it'll pull up a list for your state or your county. Yes, and I think I might have a watch party. I love this is Y'all, I be so hooked. I be so hooked. I had to take a step back because I was hooked on it. Like I was the type of chick that would wake up in the morning listening to MSNBC, CNN, Fox, like all of them. And I did that every single as soon as I was out of college. That's how into it I was. I had to take a step back. But yeah, so pull up a sample ballot. All right. So that kind of shows you if you've never voted before, it is a good time to kind of look and see what your ballot is. Then pull up who is running in November in your county, in your state. We already know who the presidential candidates are, but who are your local and state candidates if there are any offices that are running right now? Do your research so that way when November comes, you can make your vote. And it's that, you know, it's that easy. It's not hard. We have access to the internet. I just don't want people out here not voting and complaining. That's the biggest pet peeve I have. All right. So I'm not going to keep you guys too long. It's getting dark out here. I need to go do my 3 miles right quick. But I definitely will have a watch party. I definitely will. Yeah. I'm gonna have because I was like, well, I can't invite everybody, but I will set it up to where we actually have a watch party, and we can discuss, we can have debates, whatever the case may be. That is something that I do over here. I know that this is a touchy subject, but it is a subject that needs to be touched on. Okay. Well, you guys have a good night. If you, like I said, if you don't understand the electoral college and you actually just came in, please rewind the video. I did like a little 5-minute video and it kind of explains, because if I explain it, it would have been much more um not in detail, but I don't want to confuse anybody, so I just like it as simple as possible. So that little 5-minute video explains how we indirectly vote for the presidents and how electoral college works. So go back, watch the video, pull up the ballot, research the candidates, be ready for November 5th. If you have early voting, vote. All right. Until then, you all have a great evening. Be blessed. Definitely leave a comment. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until then, I'm out, y'all. Bye.